You didn't,
What?
that wasn't taped, right?
No.
Okay. Okay, now I'm gonna laugh.
Okay.
All right, hold on. I gotta get control of myself just a minute.
Control it.
I know.
One hell of a long night, right?
Yeah, this is what happens when there's a long night. All right. See, you're not helping.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, jeez. What the hell? What happened?
I don't know. It was so.
Do you actually think of something funny?
No, I had control a minute ago, and now. Oh my God! All right.
Here we go.
See, all right. Hi, I'm Libby Gibson, Town Manager. Welcome to What's Going On in Town Government. So, we finished up with 2018 annual town meeting last night. We got through 90 articles in 5 hours. Actually, if the truth be known, we did get through 90 articles, but we go through the call, and the call is a procedure that the town of Nantucket does where we go through every article at the beginning of the meeting and we call what we want to discuss. Citizens call what they want to talk about. 25 articles were called for discussion. By the end of the night, there were probably less than that because people, as time goes on, their questions get answered or they lose interest or they decide just not to call their article. But in the beginning, 25 were called. And we got through all of that by about 11 o'clock. And among the more maybe noteworthy items that were approved by voters included 5 debt exclusions for large capital projects. Those are now subject to ballot votes at the April 10th election. We also had a capital exclusion for a variety of capital projects and equipment mostly, totaling about 1.5 million. That is also contingent upon a ballot vote.
But for those people who weren't there, how would you say those votes went down?
Well, there was
overwhelmingly
of the 6 ballot required items, 3 were called for discussion. Old South Road area transportation improvements, that's a $14 million project with a variety of improvements in the Old South Road area.
That's the rotary, right?
That's the rotary, that's roundabouts in different locations, but it's improvements to the Milestone Rotary, which is going to turn into a roundabout.
Okay.
And some other different improvements. We spent some time on that article. There was some interest in that. We also had a brief discussion about design funds, 2.3 million for the Public Works facility.
Okay, but we do need to talk about that.
Okay.
People really don't get it because it's design and permit, right?
It's design and construction services and owner's project management. It's more than just design, but
I know.
It's not construction.
It's not construction,
No.
and it's that much. Did that
Yeah.
go to bid? That was bidded out to someone?
Well,
$2.3 million?
No, we haven't bid that out yet.
But you do bid it out. Can it come in less than that?
Potentially, it could come in less than that.
But normally, what drives a design to be so expensive?
Okay, so we had some funds prior to this that we used through bidding, through procurement, to engage an engineer. The engineer developed a feasibility study. That's what the funds were for, a feasibility study for a new DPW facility. Those engineers developed some conceptual designs which translate through a variety of ways into an estimated construction cost. The design is a function generally of the estimated construction cost. So that's how the 2.3 million came up.
I realize that, okay.
But I know it's not,
It's still
people may not realize it.
extremely expensive and people want to know why it's that expensive.
Well, construction projects tend to be expensive.
And
this
they're
is
municipal. And municipal drives it up.
Municipal does drive it up, and the Nantucket factor drives it up.
Sure does.
The other project, much more briefly discussed, was renovation of the Marine Department building. That is a $3.45 million project. We are getting a $1 million grant from the state for it, and that went very quickly.
Does that include raising it?
Yes.
Okay.
It does include raising it. We had some discussion about some citizen articles that were essentially non-binding because they weren't written in a manner that the voters could legally approve, including a $30 million override. So this was a citizen-generated item, and the idea was that a $30 million override for a variety of items, including infrastructure and other items.
And not including what we voted for yesterday.
Not including what we voted.
Another 30 million.
Correct.
Okay.
The proponent can certainly speak for himself, but I think his intent was that there would be little to no impact on the year-round resident who has a residential exemption, but it would require the residential exemption to be increased from the current 20% to something higher. And make a long story short, it was not approved, although there was some discussion about it. There was a lot of discussion about zoning. Zoning is generally beyond my scope of knowledge, so I'm not in a position to explain any zoning articles. There were some other citizen articles, most of them did not pass, including a couple of articles that related to the community housing project at 6 Fairgrounds Road, the town-owned property. And in a nutshell, there were a couple of articles relating to that. Those did not pass. We had some home rule petitions. Those were the main items and some other real estate matters.
Didn't you just get hired for another 3 years too?
Gino, that did not come up at town meeting, but if we're going to digress to that, yes, my employment contract was approved for another 3 years by the board. Thank you, board. I appreciate it. And thank you, citizens.
Had to bring it up.
Yeah, you had to bring it up. Thanks for that. So that's what all happened at town meeting. Next step, election, Tuesday, April 10th. Now, in addition to that, even probably before that, we've got a lot of follow-up to do now with the town meeting warrant. I'm going to give the board a little ATM follow-up summary at next week's board meeting, and we go from there to all the follow-up. There's home rule petitions that have to be sent to the state, to our legislators. There are budgets that have to be put in place, and we're going to start doing some of our budget prep. For example, we had some new positions that were included in our operating budget for the next fiscal year. We need to start working on job descriptions. Some of that is already done, but planning out the timing of advertising and all that stuff. Next week's board meeting, since we do not have a meeting tonight, because we weren't sure how long town meeting would go, so we have a night off. Next week, we're back at it, and we've got some, looking at the agenda here now, it's not totally done yet, but we're going to have the town meeting follow-up that I mentioned. We have some public hearings. We have an alteration of premises for 45 Surfside Road, that bakery place at 45 Surfside Road. Yeah. They have a wine and beer restaurant license.
Where
for
did
a
they
certain.
get that?
They got it from the town. What do you mean?
But it's a bakery.
They asked for a liquor license a while ago and it was approved. So,
okay.
So they're asking for their premises, their licensed premises, to be altered. They would like to serve on their deck. They have a deck, wine and beer. And there was a lot of discussion about this early on because that's what they initially asked for, and the board said, no, thank you. Oh. So now they're coming back to ask for it. I'm not sure how the board will react to it. Okay. Bartlett's is seeking to change their wine package store license to a wine and beer package store license. They have a seasonal license. Bartlett's is also asking for an entertainment license. They are, having more events out there, so they're going to seek an entertainment license. We have a couple of other select board report items which are not totally final yet on the agenda, but one of them probably is going to be discussion regarding the structure of the select board meeting agenda. So for a while now, it's somewhat deteriorated a little, but we've been trying to focus certain types of agenda items certain days of the month. So for a while there, we were doing citizen and departmental requests the first Wednesday. Workshop or longer, more in-depth policy discussions the second Wednesday. Public hearings the third Wednesday. Real estate and miscellaneous the fourth Wednesday. And we've gotten a little bit out of sync with that, so the board is going to be discussing whether or not it wants to bring something more structured like that back. And the idea would be to kind of clear the schedule so that they do the, not mundane, but the business items as opposed to the more in-depth policy items on specific Wednesdays of the month so they can spend more time having productive discussions about policy issues. So that is what's happening next week, and that's what's going on in town government. And there's a lot going on now. I mean, town meeting is over now, but we've got the election, and we've got the town meeting follow-up, and believe it or not, by the end of April, early May, we're going to be talking about the schedule for the 2019 annual town meeting, as well as the likelihood of a special town meeting this fall. So we need to work on the timelines.
Okay.
For
Do we
those
know
things.
what that's going to be about?
The special town meeting for the fall is very likely to have something to do with marijuana. We have a moratorium on retail establishments through the end of 2018, through December 31st, 2018. So if we are going to adopt any bylaw changes, we will need to do them at a special town meeting prior to the end of the year. So we are going to be discussing that. Last week, the board had some extended discussion about this. I think they're going to have another discussion sometime in April. And then they would like to have perhaps a series or at least a couple of public forums so that they can understand what the public thinks about in retail establishments. Do you want them at all? Do you want to have a limit on them? Where do you want them? That kind of thing.
Okay. Well,
So,
we'll be looking at that.
yes, you will be
definitely-
looking at that.
I will be going to towns after July in my truck, to towns where they sell it.
Oh, off
recreation.
island.
Yeah, so we can learn from it.
Yeah,
And
That's a good idea.
Give the people an idea on how they're dealing with it.
Yeah.
What's, the pros and cons.
well, everybody's dealing with it in Massachusetts and elsewhere, but yeah,
Better to be dealing with it, paying taxes than dealing under the table, like it always was.
yes, Gino, I agree.
The state can make a lot of money on this thing.
Well, hopefully the towns can too.
And the towns can, exactly.
And we did have an article at town meeting, which wasn't called, but it would allow for revenue from the sales tax that would be associated with the sale of marijuana to go into a special fund for substance abuse prevention efforts.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yep. What else going on?
We're gonna be ready for Daffy? Are the streets gonna be ready?
Yeah.
How about
Yes, they will be. I know they're a mess,
Yeah.
but they will be. South Beach
Yeah.
will be ready before Daffodil. We are planning, I don't know if this is too premature or not, but as of now, we are planning something of a ribbon cutting ceremony to sort of celebrate the reopening of South Beach Street in its new and improved condition, as well as a thank you for everyone who was involved in the sewer force main repair project and the street reconstruction project. There were a lot of people involved in getting this done as quickly as it was done. And so that we are hoping will be the Thursday before Daffodil. Hopefully the street actually will be open before then, but this ceremonial ribbon cutting would happen that day.
Okay.
Yeah, so there you
Wow.
go. Maybe we'll
If
have.
we keep getting storms like we've been getting, you may be ribbon cutting all over the place.
I know.
After you fix up these, right?
Yeah,
That's something that
It's
is on
a-
the minds of people, right?
yeah, absolutely. And it's on the minds of town people who need to fix it all, believe
Yeah,
me.
right.
Okay, what else?
I think that's it. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. See you next time.
Excellent.